At the beginning of the drama, we are introduced to the beautiful and busy city of Beijing. Here, we meet our main female lead, Qing Yi. 2 years ago, Qing Yi's mother passed away, and now her life has completely changed. A driver uncle is taking her away from Beijing to a small coastal town in China called Dazzling. Qing Yi is not happy about this decision at all. She asks her driver uncle why she has to leave Beijing when she could have continued living there comfortably. She even says that she could have enrolled in a foreign university and gone abroad. So why is she suddenly being sent to such a remote place? The driver uncle explains that many people are now keeping an eye on her father's wealth and properties. An investigation is also going on, and because of all these problems, it is no longer safe for Qing Yi to stay in Beijing. That's why he is taking her to Jiazating for the time being. The truth is that Qing Yi's father is currently facing serious financial and legal troubles regarding his money and assets. Soon, we get a beautiful view of Jiazating. It is a small seaside town whose entire atmosphere has developed around the ocean. The scenery is peaceful and refreshing. Then, we are introduced to the main male lead. His name is Xing Wu, and he is practically the local hero of the town. 2 of his close friends come looking for him. One is named Cui, and the other is Kai. Interestingly, all 3 boys have very unusual hair colors, making them stand out from everyone else. Just then, one of their teachers arrives nearby. Suddenly, a young thief snatches the teacher's phone and runs away. Without wasting any time, Xing Wu and his 2 friends chase after him. After a long pursuit, they finally catch the thief near the beach. Xing Wu angrily tells him that he has warned him many times not to steal from people in their neighborhood. Despite all those warnings, the boy keeps committing thefts again and again. It turns out that the thief is actually someone from their own neighborhood. Eventually, he returns the phone and apologizes. At that moment, Xing Wu notices a city car passing by. The 3 boys look curiously toward the vehicle. Inside the car is Qing Yi. From a distance, Qing Yi sees the 3 boys surrounding and scolding another boy. Since she doesn't know the full story, she immediately assumes that they are bullies who enjoy picking on weaker people. As a result, she forms a very negative first impression of them. The boys begin walking toward the car. Cui and Kai ask Xing Wu if this is the cousin who is supposed to come and stay at his house. Xing Wu approaches Qing Yi and tries to speak with her. However, Qing Yi immediately tells him to get lost. In her mind, village boys are usually troublemakers, and their strange hair colors only make them look even more suspicious. The driver uncle then asks whether they know the location of Swan Island. Coincidentally, Swan Island is where Xing Wu's family lives. Xing Wu politely explains the directions and tells them exactly how to get there. Since the destination is still quite far away, the driver uncle gives them some money as a thank you gesture. Cui and Kai happily accept it, but Xing Wu immediately scolds them and tells them to return the money. However, by that point, the car has already driven away. His friends helplessly ask how they are supposed to return the money now. Qing Yi watches all of this and asks why someone would pay money just for directions. The driver uncle replies that in small towns, money can often solve many problems. His words stay in Qing Yi's mind. Meanwhile, Xing Wu tells his friends to go home immediately and inform his mother that his cousin has arrived. Soon, a man named Mr. Ju appears. He is the owner of the phone that was stolen earlier. Besides being a teacher, he also works as an electric bike driver. He retrieves his phone and thanks the boys before continuing on his way. Now we are introduced to Xing Wu's mother, Miss Li. Unlike what most people would expect, she is very stylish and youthful. She also loves playing games and spends most of her free time with her 2 close friends. Today is no different. She is happily enjoying her game when a debt collector calls and asks for payment. Miss Li casually replies that her money tree will arrive soon, and she will pay everything afterward. Elsewhere, Xing Wu is having a conversation with Mr. Ju. The teacher reminds him that he was once one of the brightest students in school. However, 2 years ago, he suddenly dropped out. Mr. Ju says that he still believes Xing Wu should return to school. He reminds him about the model airplane he once built and how high it managed to fly. Xing Wu jokingly responds that it was only a paper airplane. Still, Mr. Ju tells him that he will continue waiting for the day Xing Wu returns to school. Back at home, Cui and Kai have already informed Miss Li that her niece from the city is arriving. Excited by the news, she quickly dresses up and waits outside to welcome her. When Qing Yi finally arrives, she immediately notices the same boys with the colorful hair standing nearby. To make her arrival even more special, Miss Li has arranged fireworks. However, instead of feeling welcomed, Qingyi finds the entire situation extremely awkward. The smoke even makes her start coughing. The driver uncle then tells Miss Li that he has safely delivered Qingyi, and that from now on, she is her responsibility. After saying goodbye, he prepares to leave. Miss Li warmly hugs Qingyi and tells her that Qingyi's mother was like a sister to her. Unfortunately, Qingyi doesn't feel comfortable with such affection from a stranger. Before leaving, the driver uncle tells Qingyi that she can call him anytime if she ever needs help. At that moment, Xingwu arrives as well. After entering the house, Qingyi realizes that she doesn't like the environment very much. Everything feels completely different from her life in Beijing. Soon, she takes out 30,000 yuan and hands it to Miss Li. She explains that she will probably stay there for about a month and asks her to keep the money. Miss Li immediately responds that the agreed amount was actually 50,000 yuan. Qingyi calmly replies that she will pay the remaining 20,000 yuan before leaving, but only if she is satisfied with the service. Just then, Xingwu arrives and witnesses the entire conversation. Miss Li points toward him and introduces him as her son. She tells Qingyi that from now on, Xingwu will be responsible for looking after her. However, Xingwu clearly dislikes this arrangement. In fact, he isn't even willing to show her where her room is. Seeing this, Miss Li decides to handle everything herself and tells Qingyi to follow her so she can show her the room. After that, Qingyi begins looking around the house carefully. Since she has grown up in Beijing, everything here feels completely different from the lifestyle she is used to. Soon, Miss Li takes her upstairs and shows her a study desk. She explains that it belongs to Xingwu and that he usually does all kinds of work there. In fact, Xingwu has several different jobs, something we will learn more about later in the story. Then Miss Li shows Qingye the bedroom. Inside the room, there are 2 beds. This is actually Xingwu's room. However, since he rarely stays at home, Qingye will be staying there from now on. Miss Li also explains that even if Xingwu occasionally comes back to sleep in the room, there is a curtain between the 2 beds. If they want privacy, they can simply pull the curtain and divide the room into 2 separate sections. She even jokes that if that is still not enough, she can install a proper partition wall. Qingye immediately asks whether there is any other option available. Hearing that, Miss Li takes her to another room and says that Qingye can stay there if she wants. However, the room turns out to be Miss Li's own bedroom. The moment Qingye sees it, she finds it quite messy and uncomfortable. Without hesitation, she says that the previous room is much better and decides to stay there instead. Meanwhile, Xingwu complains to his mother. He asks whether it was really necessary to bring this spoiled princess-like girl into their house. Miss Li reminds him that Qingyi is a distant relative and that she has no one else to rely on right now. Because of that, they have to take care of her. She tells her son to treat Qingyi kindly. A little later, Qingyi comes downstairs. There she notices another room and becomes curious about it. Xingwu explains that it belongs to his grandmother. He tells her that his grandmother suffers from epilepsy and warns her not to enter that room. Instead of responding to that, Qingyi asks where the bathroom is. To her shock, Xingwu points outside. The bathroom is actually a common bathroom located outside the house and shared by everyone. Qingyi can hardly believe it. Having grown up in the city, she has never experienced anything like this before. She starts wondering how she is supposed to survive here. Still, one thing she likes is the bed she has been given. It is surprisingly soft and comfortable. Later, Qingyi takes out a notebook and begins writing something. She creates a formal agreement called Temporary Rental Service. The document basically outlines the rules between the 2 parties, and both sides are required to sign it. After sitting quietly for quite some time, Xingwu finally enters the room. He tells her that if she is going to live there, she will have to learn to adapt to everything around her. He also informs her that his mother is calling everyone for dinner. When Qingyi comes downstairs, she finds a table full of delicious food. Miss Li has clearly put a lot of effort into preparing the meal. However, Qingyi doesn't like any of it. The problem isn't the quality of the food. In fact, the dishes look amazing, but Qingyi has certain habits. She doesn't eat meat late at night because she believes it causes digestion problems. As a result, she hesitates to touch any of the dishes. Instead of eating, she hands over the agreement she prepared and asks Miss Li to sign it. She explains that one copy will stay with her while the other will remain with Miss Li. From now on, both sides are expected to follow the conditions written inside. Qingyi then says that as long as she can live peacefully, she won't create any trouble for anyone. After saying that, she leaves the table. hospital. Meanwhile, Xingwu questions his mother about accepting money from Qingye. He says they could have let her stay for free. Miss Li finally reveals their reality. For the past 2 years, Xingwu hasn't been studying. The family has been struggling financially, debt collectors keep showing up, and his grandmother needs constant medication. Because of all these problems, they desperately need money. She adds that if things improve later, she may even return Qingye's money. Xingwu promises that he will help the family, but Miss Li has already lost her appetite after talking about their troubles. She tells him to clean the table and returns to her room. Unknown to them, Qingyi overhears everything from upstairs. A little later, Xingwu enters his grandmother's room. Curious, Qingyi sneaks toward the door to listen, but suddenly the electricity goes out. Frightened by the darkness, she quickly runs back upstairs. Meanwhile, Xingwu discovers that the entire area has lost power. Back in her room, Qingyi video calls her friends and complains about her new life. She tells them about her strange cousin whose hair looks both golden and silver, and says she dislikes everyone's attitude. Unfortunately, Xingwu hears every word. The funny part is that he had come upstairs to bring her a candle. When Qingyi notices him, she gets startled. Xingwu coldly says that after hearing what she really thinks about them, it seems she doesn't need his help. Then, he walks away. A short while later, he fixes the electrical problem and the lights come back on. Soon, Qingyi notices a mosquito coil burning nearby and complains about the smell. Xingwu explains that mosquitoes in the town are terrible and that nothing works better than mosquito coils. Qingyi then complains about the lack of air conditioning and the dim lighting. Without arguing, Xingwu climbs up to replace the bulb and asks her to hand him the new one. However, she refuses, saying it's his bulb, so he should get it himself. Annoyed, Xingwu climbs down and gets it on his own. Afterward, he gives her ointment for mosquito bites and warns that they could cause allergic reactions. A moment later, Qingyi asks where the bathroom is. Xingwu takes her outside. The moment she sees it, she loses her temper. She complains about the smell, the condition, and the lack of proper supplies. Then she notices a gap near the door and becomes even more shocked. She asks, what if someone peeks through it? Xingwu immediately replies that nobody is interested in watching her bathe. Annoyed, Qingyi asks if he can ever speak politely. When she asks for body wash, Xingwu sighs and says it would be easier if she just gave him a complete list of everything she wants. Realizing that arguing won't help, Qingyi decides to somehow survive for the month. After Xingwu leaves, she covers the gap with her scarf and carefully cleans every surface before taking a shower. However, while she is bathing, a creepy boy secretly moves the scarf and peeks through the opening. Suddenly, Qingyi screams. Hearing her, Xingwu rushes to the bathroom. Qingyi runs out in panic and asks for help. When Xingwu checks inside, he discovers that the terrifying creatures she was screaming about are simply cockroaches. To his surprise, Qingyi is genuinely terrified of them. After calming her down, he helps her leave. Later, Qingyi continues complaining about everything in town, asks for the ointment again, and finally manages to fall asleep. Meanwhile, Xingwu gives up his room and decides to sleep downstairs on the sofa. Before leaving, Qingyi asks if he plans to sleep there. Xingwu simply replies that he'll sleep downstairs and walks away. That night, Qingyi video calls her friends again and complains that coming here feels like falling into hell. Meanwhile, Xingwu settles onto the uncomfortable sofa. Even though Qingyi constantly criticizes him, she is slowly starting to notice him more and more. The next morning, loud noises wake Qingyi up. Annoyed, she walks onto the balcony and complains, but while heading downstairs, she suddenly slips and falls. The loud crash immediately brings Xingwu running. Soon, Miss Li arrives as well. Qingyi looks miserable. One eye is swollen from sleeping awkwardly, while mosquito bites have caused an allergic reaction around the other eye. She can barely walk. Without hesitation, Xingwu picks her up and carries her to the local clinic. When they arrive, Qingyi doubts whether it's even a real clinic. A sleepy-looking doctor soon appears and assures her that he is licensed. After examining her, he explains that the swelling is simply an allergic reaction from mosquito bites, exactly as Xingwu warned. As for her leg, nothing serious is wrong. Some ointment and rest will be enough. Qingyi is shocked that she doesn't need x-rays or additional tests. The doctor laughs and says they aren't necessary. After giving her medicine, he advises her to rest for a few days. Xingwu carefully applies ointment to her injured foot and wraps it with a bandage. When Qingyi asks how much she owes, Xingwu tells her there is no charge. Remembering the doctor's advice, she immediately says that since she shouldn't walk, Xingwu should carry her home as well. Once again, he picks her up and carries her through the village while everyone stares. Embarrassed, Qingyi avoids looking at anyone. Back home, Miss Li brings her food. At first, Qingyi isn't interested, but after everyone leaves, hunger wins. She takes a bite and is surprised by how delicious it is. Elsewhere, we meet Yu, the owner of a shop called Sunny, where Xingwu works. Yu gives him a huge amount of work, and as usual, Xingwu works late into the night. Meanwhile, Qingyi notices Xingwu's grandmother struggling to pick up a fallen glass. Because of her paralysis and epilepsy, even simple movements are difficult. Feeling sympathetic, Qingyi helps her. Afterwards, she goes out for a walk. Soon, she finds the same food stall Miss Li bought from earlier and places a huge order. The owner initially refuses, but when Qingyi offers an extra 1,000 yuan, she immediately agrees. Later that afternoon, Xingwu returns home. No matter how busy he is, he always comes back to personally feed his grandmother. A little later, we see him carrying a lock. Remembering the gap in the bathroom door, he decides to install it himself so nobody can peek inside again. Meanwhile, Qingyi is convinced that money can buy almost anyone in this town. While looking for avocados and cherries, she runs into Cui, who is delivering a package from the city. When she asks about the fruit, Cui promises to find them for her. Back home, Qingyi opens the package and discovers a laptop. She immediately thanks the friend who sent it. Meanwhile, Xingwu advises her to stop showing off her money because it could attract trouble. However, Qingyi simply replies that she spends money because she has it. A little later, she tries recording an admission application video. Unfortunately, constant noise keeps ruining her recording. To make matters worse, Xingwu is arguing with his mother downstairs. Annoyed, Qingyi goes down to investigate. She discovers that the argument is about the lock Xingwu bought for the communal bathroom. Some people think everyone should contribute toward the cost. Qingyi immediately offers to pay for it herself. Miss Li refuses and reminds her that she is only staying temporarily, but Qingyi says she considers it the cost of her own peace of mind. After she leaves, Xingwu becomes furious. He explains that he bought the lock because he was concerned about everyone's safety, especially hers, and asks why she always tries to solve every problem with money. Qingyi becomes equally angry and says she no longer wants to stay there. Xingwu replies that maybe a princess like her should leave because she clearly can't adapt to village life. The argument escalates. In a fit of anger, Xingwu crumples up their agreement. Furious, Qingyi grabs her luggage and storms out. Outside, strong winds have already begun. She hires an electric bike driver and asks to be taken to the best hotel in town. Although Xingwu is worried about her, his pride prevents him from stopping her. Soon, Qingyi arrives at a local hotel. She asks for the most expensive room and is shocked when she learns it costs only 500 yuan per night. The employee assures her that it has air conditioning and Wi-Fi. However, after entering, she quickly realizes the room is far less luxurious than she expected. The bathroom is old and the facilities are basic. The only thing she likes is the beautiful ocean view, which ironically is the same view she had from Xingwu's house. After settling in, she proudly tells her friends that she has finally escaped the village house. Meanwhile, Xingwu unfolds the crumpled agreement and rereads it. It becomes obvious that he regrets the argument. At that moment, Kai arrives carrying food that Qingyi had ordered earlier from his mother's restaurant. Interestingly, one of the meals was meant for Xingwu's grandmother. Seeing this reminds Xingwu of something his grandmother once said, that Qingyi would help take care of her from now on. The memory softens his mood. Later that night, a violent storm strikes the town. Heavy rain pours everywhere. Xingwu becomes increasingly worried about Qingyi and eventually calls the electric bike driver to find out where she is staying. The driver tells him the hotel's name. Unfortunately, the hotel is in terrible condition during the storm. The landline stops working, the Wi-Fi goes down, even the air conditioner breaks. Surprisingly, Qingyi sleeps peacefully through all of it. The next morning, Qingyi wakes up because of a loud noise. She can't believe there is so much noise here as well, so she gets up to investigate. At the same time, Xingwu arrives at the hotel. He knows Qingyi is staying there and has been called to repair the broken Wi-Fi and air conditioner. While working, a hotel employee hands him a business card and says he could earn good money if he worked there regularly. Meanwhile, Qingyi walks over to a neighboring room where a man is loudly filming a vlog. Annoyed by the noise, she asks him to be quieter. Instead of apologizing, the man starts arguing with her. Just then, Xingwu arrives and tells the vlogger to continue filming if he wants. He explains that Qingyi only complained because she had been woken up early. Then Xingwu asks why she is staying there. Qingyi asks him the same question. Xingwu casually replies that he was simply passing by, never mentioning that he came to repair the hotel's equipment. Soon, Qingyi goes to pay for another day at the hotel. However, her bank card suddenly stops working. Confused, she calls the driver her uncle and receives shocking news. Because of the investigation involving her father, all of her accounts have been frozen. For the first time, Qingyi has no access to her money. Seeing her situation, Xingwu quietly gives her some cash and asks how she plans to stay at the hotel now. Qingyi says nothing. Instead, she picks up her luggage and leaves. Xingwu follows her and reminds her that she only left home in anger. If she wants to return, she still can. But Qingyi is too proud to answer. Instead, she boards a bus and leaves. A little later, she calls the driver uncle again. He tells her not to worry and promises that if she ever needs money, she can contact him. Eventually, Qingyi realizes she has nowhere else to go. She can no longer afford the hotel, and despite everything, she already paid a lot of money to stay at Xingwu's house, so she finally decides to return. Fortunately, Miss Li has already prepared food for her. This time, Qingyi genuinely enjoys the meal. She has slowly started getting used to the local food. However, while eating, she suddenly realizes that her laptop bag is missing. Immediately, she panics. The laptop contains all the files she needs for her admission application. Xingwu notices her expression and asks what happened. When he hears about the missing laptop, he seems to know exactly where stolen electronics are usually sold. Without saying much, he quietly leaves. Soon, he arrives at an illegal workshop where stolen items are bought, sold, and repaired. Meanwhile, Qingyi goes to the police station and checks CCTV footage from the buses she used. Although they spot the thief, the footage isn't clear enough to identify him. At the same time, Xingwu enters the illegal workshop pretending to look for work. To prove himself, he repairs several phones within minutes. Everyone is impressed. A little later, someone brings in a laptop. The moment Xingwu sees it, he immediately recognizes it. It's Qingyi's laptop. Without revealing anything, he offers 2,000 yuan for it and buys it on the spot. Afterward, he teaches a few people a lesson with his fists and leaves with the laptop. Back home, he quietly places it somewhere safe. When Qingyi returns from the police station, she is shocked to find her laptop sitting there. She instantly realizes who must have recovered it. However, Xingwu never admits it. Even so, Qingyi sincerely thanks him. The next morning, Qingyi goes out for a jog and notices Xingwu working yet another job. Surprised, she comments that he must earn a lot of money working so much. As usual, Xingwu doesn't respond. Later, Qingyi places her laptop near the Wi-Fi source because the signal upstairs is weak. While waiting, Cui arrives carrying fruit. Unfortunately, he couldn't find avocados, but he did bring cherries. Qingyi wonders if avocados even exist in town. Cui laughs and tells her the local fruits are much better. After tasting them, Qingyi is pleasantly surprised. They are actually delicious. After that, she spends time with Cui and Kai trying local snacks and chatting. During the conversation, she becomes curious about Xingwu and asks why he no longer attends school. That's when Cui and Kai reveal the truth. 2 years ago, Xingwu gave up his studies because someone had to support the family. He took responsibility for the household expenses and his grandmother's care, sacrificing his own education. Hearing this, Qingyi begins seeing him differently. Later, another problem appears. Someone accidentally spills water all over her laptop. The screen immediately goes black. Now Qingyi is truly worried because her admission deadline is approaching. Without wasting time, she asks an electric bike driver to take her to the best repair shop in town. The driver takes her to Sunny. What Qingyi doesn't know is that Xingwu works there. She rushes inside and is told to speak with Mr. Zhu, the expert technician. When she walks into the back room, she is stunned. Mr. Zhu is Xingwu. Qingyi explains the problem, and Xingwu calmly tells her not to worry because he can fix it. She says she needs it repaired before tomorrow. Xingwu simply tells her to trust him. Deep down, however, Qingyi still has doubts. After examining the laptop, Xingwu realizes he needs spare parts from home. So he asks Qingyi if she wants to come along. Since she is wearing a very short skirt, she asks how she is supposed to ride on his bike. Without making a big deal out of it, Xingwu removes the shirt tied around his waist and wraps it around her legs. Then he tells her to hold on tightly because the roads are steep. As they ride through the countryside, they pass a stunning field of purple flowers stretching across the landscape. Qingyi is completely mesmerized and asks him to stop. To her, the scenery looks magical, but Xingwu casually says they're just plants used for production and doesn't understand her excitement. Still, Qingyi loves the view. Eventually, they return home. Meanwhile, the man who accidentally damaged the laptop arrives carrying all the money he has. Feeling guilty, he offers it to Qingyi as compensation. Surprisingly, Qingyi refuses to take it and doesn't blame him. The man leaves feeling relieved. Later, Qingyi tries to pay Xingwu for repairing the laptop. Once again, he refuses any payment. Not only does he repair it for free, but he also manages to recover everything. Eventually, Qingye receives the laptop back. Everything works perfectly. At the same time, another emergency strikes. Suddenly, Xingwu's grandmother suffers an epileptic episode. Qingyi rushes over to help. However, in her confused state, the grandmother bites Qingyi's hand very hard. Fortunately, a CCTV camera in the room is connected to Xingwu's phone. The moment he sees what is happening, he leaves work and rushes home. When he arrives, Qingyi tells him not to worry because the grandmother has finally fallen asleep. Xingwu notices the injury on her hand and then gives her the repaired laptop. The moment Qingyi turns it on, she becomes overjoyed. Not only is it fully repaired, but all of her files are safe. Even the important project she needed to submit has already been uploaded. Qingyi is incredibly relieved. Meanwhile, Xingwu feels grateful as well. After all, Qingyi stayed by his grandmother's side and helped take care of her. In fact, her quick actions may have prevented a much worse situation. Later, Xingwu brings Qingyi medicine for the bite wound and warns her not to ignore it. That night, Qingyi lies awake thinking about everything that has happened. The next morning, Miss Li arrives with all kinds of food for her. Since Qingyi helped save the grandmother, the entire family is grateful. Everyone's attitude toward her has become much warmer. Later, Xingwu installs an air conditioner in his room. When one of the nuts falls, Qingyi picks it up and hands it back to him. At this point, their relationship is completely different from how it started. When they first met, they couldn't stand each other. Now they have slowly become good friends. Even Qingyi realizes that her first impression of Xingwu was completely wrong. She had assumed he was rude and troublesome. In reality, he is kind, hardworking, and dependable. Xingwu even buys a watermelon for her. It's a small gesture, but Qingyi is genuinely happy. The following day, something strange happens. During the night, a creepy man steals one of Qingyi's bras hanging outside to dry. The next morning, she wakes up to loud shouting and comes downstairs to find out what happened. Miss Li awkwardly explains that one of Qingyi's clothes has been stolen. More specifically, her bra is missing. Qingyi is completely shocked. First her laptop was stolen and now even her underwear. She wonders what might disappear next. As Xingwu examines the area, he notices a set of footprints. Based on their size and shape, he immediately suspects a man named Jun. We then see Jun casually eating as if nothing happened. Xingwu walks straight up to him and warns that if he ever bothers Qingyi again, he won't let him get away with it. Unfortunately, Jun isn't intimidated. Instead, he becomes even more obsessed with Qingyi. Meanwhile, Qingyi faces another problem. She didn't bring many clothes from the city. Seeing this, Miss Li generously offers some of her own clothes. One after another, Qingyi tries them on. When Xingwu arrives home, Miss Li asks him to compliment her. However, the outfits look absolutely ridiculous. Xingwu can barely hold back his laughter. Eventually, Qingyi chooses something herself. This time, everyone is surprised. She looks beautiful. Even Xingwu has to admit it suits her perfectly. Later, Miss Li tells Xingwu that they have been invited to a wedding. She plans to take the grandmother and asks Xingwu to bring Qingyi along as well. Meanwhile, Qingyi is outside exercising. Xingwu tells her he is heading to the shopping mall and asks whether she needs anything. Embarrassed, Qingyi quietly asks him to buy her a replacement bra and even tells him the size. Although obviously uncomfortable, Xingwu still agrees. Afterward, he hides it inside a box and brings it home. Soon after, he receives another call from Sunny. This time, he is given an important project to build an airplane model. Xingwu accepts the job and returns home. Once there, he gives Qingyi the item she requested and tells her to try it on. If the size is wrong, he will exchange it later. Just then, their friends arrive and ask whether they are coming to the wedding. Since Qingyi has never experienced a village wedding before, Xingwu suggests taking her there. Soon, they arrive at the lively wedding venue. People are cooking huge amounts of food, music is playing, and everyone is celebrating together. Unfortunately, Jun is also there. From the very beginning, his attention remains fixed on Qingyi. Thankfully, she doesn't notice. Instead, she is busy enjoying herself. One of the wedding traditions involves people competing to grab food. Qingyi finds it hilarious and joins in enthusiastically. For the first time in a long while, she completely forgets her worries. At some point, Qingyi drinks far too much wine and soon becomes quite drunk. Now she starts acting playful around Xingwu. Since the wedding venue is close to home, everyone simply walks back. As they head home, Qingyi complains that she feels cold. Without hesitation, Xingwu removes his coat and drapes it over her shoulders. A few minutes later, Qingyi says she can no longer walk and demands that Xingwu carry her. Xingwu points out that they are almost home, but Qingyi stubbornly repeats herself. In the end, he gives in and carries her on his back. As they walk through the night, Qingyi begins speaking from the heart. She tells him that even if she goes far away someday, she will still remember him and miss him. Those words affect Xingwu deeply. For years, his life revolved around responsibility and sacrifice, but Qingyi is different. She is genuinely kind, and by now, Xingwu understands that clearly. Before long, Qingyi falls asleep on his back. When they reach home, Xingwu carefully carries her to bed, covers her with a blanket, and quietly tells her to rest. However, he doesn't have the luxury of staying home. After locking the house, he heads back out to work because he still has to support the family. Back at the workshop, he continues working on the airplane model project. Yet no matter how hard he tries to focus, Qingyi keeps appearing in his thoughts. Meanwhile, Qingyi suddenly wakes up in the middle of the night. The house is completely silent. She calls out for Xingwu several times, but there is no answer. Only then does she realize that he isn't home. Looking around, she notices a sticky note he left behind. On it, Xingwu explains that she was extremely drunk and tells her to drink the honey water he prepared for her. Seeing the note makes Qingyi smile. After drinking the honey water, she decides to take a shower. Inside the bathroom, she suddenly notices how secure it feels now. The lock Xingwu installed is working perfectly. Once again, she is reminded of all the little things he quietly does for her. However, while Qingyi is showering, someone approaches the bathroom. The person is none other than June. Obsessed with Qingyi from the beginning, he believes he has finally found the perfect opportunity to harass her. To avoid being recognized, he covers his face and starts forcing the bathroom door open. Inside, Qingyi immediately hears the noise. She shouts, warning whoever is outside to stop. Feeling unsafe, she quickly puts her clothes back on, but June continues trying to break the lock. At the same time, Qingyi desperately calls Xingwu. Unfortunately, his phone is on silent mode. Panicking, she manages to contact him through Sunny's workshop. The moment Xingwu answers, Qingyi tells him someone is trying to break into the bathroom. His expression changes instantly. He tells her to get dressed quickly, grab something for self-defense, and not be afraid because he is already on his way. Meanwhile, Qingyi grabs a wooden board and hides inside. Even so, she is trembling with fear. A few moments later, June finally breaks in. Looking at Qingyi, he arrogantly asks who is going to save her now. But before he can do anything else, another voice suddenly comes from behind him. It is Xingwu. Coldly, Xingwu replies, "Why wouldn't I save her?" The next second, he shoves June out of the bathroom. Then he completely loses his temper. For the first time, we see Xingwu truly enraged. He beats June mercilessly. His anger is so intense that Qingye eventually rushes over and stops him, fearing he might actually kill him. A short while later, the police arrive. Before rushing home, Xingwu had already called them. Soon, June's parents arrive as well and demand to know why their son was beaten so badly. This time, Xingwu speaks on Qingye's behalf and tells them to ask June directly. Then Qingye explains everything. She says that June tried to force his way into the bathroom while she was showering. After hearing her statement, the police take everyone to the station. Once there, June's parents try to settle the matter privately. However, neither Qingye nor Xingwu agrees. They want the law to handle it properly. Then Qingye remembers something. She tells the police that she also suspects June was the person who stole her laptop. After reviewing the CCTV footage again, the police discover that she is right. The thief was indeed June. As a result, he is arrested and taken into custody. However, the police also warn Xingwu not to take the law into his own hands again. Xingwu accepts the warning and promises not to repeat it. Afterward, everyone returns home. That night, when Xingwu's grandmother calls Qingyi over, Qingyi suddenly breaks down crying. The truth is that she has been holding in her emotions for a long time. Her mother is gone, she is far away from home, and when the terrifying incident happened, she felt completely alone. Xingwu understands exactly how she feels. Wanting to comfort her, he prepares ginger soup and brings it to her. Then he sincerely apologizes. He tells her that he regrets leaving her alone that night and promises that such a situation will never happen again. If she ever feels unsafe, she should call him immediately. Looking directly at her, Xingwu tells Qingyi that she can trust him completely. When Qingyi asks how he can be so sure, Xingwu calmly replies that he already promised her. As long as he is there, nobody will be allowed to hurt her. The next day, Qingyi discovers another surprise. Xingwu has built a special drying rack just for her. He even attached a sign saying that it belongs exclusively to Qingyi, and that nobody else is allowed to touch it. Seeing this makes her incredibly happy. Meanwhile, life slowly returns to normal. Xingwu continues working as hard as ever, and after everything that happened, Qingyi finally feels safe in the village. Days pass peacefully. everyone treats her like family now. Even Xingwu's grandmother becomes very attached to her, knitting bags and making clothes for her. One day, Xingwu enters the room and finds Qingyi proudly showing off the clothes his grandmother made. When asked how they look, Xingwu acts indifferent and says they look all right. Immediately, the grandmother scolds him and says they look wonderful. Hearing this makes Qingyi smile. Before they realize it, nearly a month passes. Then one morning, Qingyi receives a message informing her that her classes in Beijing are about to begin. She must return immediately. Qingyi becomes excited but also emotional. After all, a whole month has passed without her noticing. She quickly finds Xingwu and tells him she will be leaving for Beijing the next day. Soon, departure day arrives. Qingyi says goodbye to everyone and thanks them for everything they have done for her. Although she smiles, she is clearly sad about leaving. She has grown attached to both the place and the people. On the way to the station, Qingyi suddenly asks Xingwu to stop. They happen to be at the place where they first met. Standing there, Qingyi recalls her first impression of him. She admits that she thought he was rude and didn't like him at all. But after spending time with him, she realized how kind and caring he truly is. Then she tells him something that touches him deeply. In her eyes, he is a wonderful person. And no matter how far away she goes, she will never forget him. She asks him not to forget her either. Xingwu quietly replies that she is talking as if she will never come back. Qingyi simply smiles. A little later, they stop beside the lavender fields once again. Qingyi hands her phone to Xingwu and asks him to take photos. Instead, Xingwu secretly records videos of her. As she happily poses among the flowers, the camera captures only Qingyi. Eventually, she notices and asks why he isn't taking photos. Embarrassed, Xingwu quickly snaps a few random pictures before suggesting they take some together. For the first time, they stand side by side and take photos as friends. Soon afterward, they arrive at the railway station. Standing there, Qingyi suddenly says she wants to hug him. Xingwu is completely caught off guard. Before leaving, Qingyi returns the agreement paper they signed when she first arrived. Then she softly says goodbye and tells him that perhaps they will meet again someday. With that, she turns around and walks inside. After finding her seat, she begins looking through the photos on her phone. Then she notices something. Instead of photos, Xingwu mostly recorded videos of her. Watching them makes her smile. Later that night, Qingyi finally arrives back in Beijing. Heavy rain is falling across the city. As soon as she arrives, she heads to the admission office regarding the email she received earlier. However, after arriving, she receives shocking news. The staff informs her that her admission application has been canceled. What's worse, someone filed a report against her, resulting in a 5-year ban from applying again. Qingyi is completely stunned. She insists that she submitted everything correctly. The staff simply replies that they only received the report. Confused and desperate, Qingyi tries calling her friend. When the calls go unanswered, she goes to confront her in person. Looking directly at her friend, Qingyi asks if she was the one who reported the application. This time, the girl doesn't deny it. Instead, she calmly admits the truth. She did it because Han only liked Qingyi. Unable to accept that, she wanted Qingyi out of the way. Qingyi is speechless. She explains that she never liked Han and that this has nothing to do with her. Just then, Han arrives and overhears everything. After learning the truth, he becomes furious and tells the girl he never knew she could be so cruel. Then he takes Qingyi away and offers her a place to stay. For a moment, Qingyi thinks she has finally found somewhere safe. Unfortunately, things don't go as expected. While staying there, she overhears Han's mother complaining. According to her, Qingyi's father is already buried in business problems, and bringing her into the house will only create trouble. Although Han tries to defend her, it is already too late. Hearing those words breaks Qingyi's heart. Without telling anyone, she quietly leaves. When Han later comes looking for her, she is already gone. After leaving, Qingyi tries calling her uncle, but she doesn't want to trouble him anymore. Instead, she decides to return to her own home. Unfortunately, things are no better there. Because the house is still under investigation, she cannot even get inside. Standing outside her own home, Qingyi feels completely hopeless. She sits down alone as heavy rain begins pouring from the sky. At that moment, someone suddenly appears and holds an umbrella above her. Qingyi slowly looks up. Standing in front of her is Xingwu. She is completely shocked. "You? What are you doing here?" she asks. Xingwu simply smiles. "Yeah, it's me." Qingyi stares at him in disbelief. Then we are reminded that Qingyi, a girl from Beijing, spent a month living in the countryside with her hardworking cousin, Xingwu, who gave up school 2 years earlier to support his family. After returning to Beijing, Qingyi's life quickly fell apart. She lost her admission opportunity, discovered the ugly side of her best friend, felt unwelcome at Han's house, and couldn't even enter her own home. Just when she felt completely abandoned, Xingwu appeared beside her with an umbrella. It seems that Xingwu predicted she might run into trouble and followed her all the way to Beijing. After finding her, he takes her to a small restaurant so she can eat something. By this point, Qingyi's heart is completely broken. While they sit together, Xingwu says something surprising. According to their agreement, it is still his responsibility to take care of her, because there are still 15 minutes left before the month officially ends. That's why he came all the way to Beijing. He promised that nothing bad would happen to her during that month. Qingyi has a hard time believing him. Afterward, she takes Xingwu to her family home. The place is in terrible condition. No one lives there anymore. Her mother once maintained a beautiful garden filled with flowers and plants, but now most of them are dying. Qingyi quietly enters the garden. Among all the dying plants, she notices one tree still standing strong. It is the tree her mother planted herself. Seeing it fills her with emotion. Then, Qingyi secretly brings Xingwu inside the house. Since the property is still under investigation, they have to sneak in carefully. Inside, they share a simple meal of instant noodles. Afterward, Qingyi gathers whatever clothes and belongings she can take and packs everything into her luggage. They also find a clay savings bank and take some money from it. Before long, the security guards spot them, forcing the two to run away. They keep running until they finally reach a bridge. While catching his breath, Xingwu asks, "Why exactly are we running like criminals?" Qingyi replies, "Because they're chasing us." Hearing that, Xingwu can't help laughing. Then he says, "Well, I don't think they can catch us anymore. We should probably buy train tickets now." Before leaving Beijing, Qingyi makes one final stop and visits her mother's grave. Standing there, she introduces Xingwu to her mother and quietly says, "I'm leaving again. Please continue watching over me." Meanwhile, Xingwu completes the reason he originally came to Beijing, to buy a wheelchair for his grandmother. When he realizes he doesn't have enough money, Qingyi helps cover the remaining amount. After everything is settled, the two board a train and eventually make their way back to Yating together. As they walk into the village side by side, Qingyi realizes this place has become her home once again. Xingwu's mother is surprised to see her back. Why has Qingyi come back again? Of course, she doesn't know Qingyi's admission has been cancelled. Before anyone can ask more questions, Qingyi starts handing out gifts she brought from Beijing. She had bought clothes, cosmetics, and other presents for the family. Seeing this, Xingwu's mother asks, "So, are you staying here again from now on?" Qingyi nods. "Then how long will you be staying?" "I honestly don't know." Later, Xingwu explains everything to his mother. He tells her that Qingyi's admission was cancelled. Her friends betrayed her, and she can't even return home. "That's why I brought her back here. Don't worry about the expenses, I'll take care of everything." Even after hearing that, his mother remains worried because the family is already struggling financially. However, Xingwu's grandmother is delighted to see Qingyi return. In her eyes, helping Qingyi is exactly the right thing to do. Meanwhile, Qingyi is feeling extremely depressed. Noticing her mood, Xingwu comforts her. "You're back in Yating now. From today onward, think of this place as your home, and from now on, you'll continue chasing your dreams right here." His words make Qingyi feel much better. Then Xingwu gives up his own bedroom and tells her, "From now on, this room is completely yours. I'll stay somewhere else." Qingyi feels guilty, but Xingwu is genuinely happy because she has returned. Soon, Qingyi gives him a gift she brought from Beijing. "You work long hours every day, so this should help you." The next morning, Qingyi decides to start a new chapter in her life. By now, she has completely adapted to village life. What once felt boring now brings her peace and comfort. That day, she meets Lu Nian, a young man living with Xingwu's family. When Qingyi asks about him, Lu Nian reveals that his parents abandoned him when he was young, and Xingwu's mother took him in. Hearing this, Qingyi realizes something important. Even though Xingwu's family struggles financially, they never hesitate to help others. Later, several creditors arrive at the house to collect debts. Most of these debts were left behind by Xingwu's father. Xingwu asks for more time, but Qingyi steps forward and gives them 2,700 yuan. After the creditors leave, Xingwu asks, "Why did you do that?" Qingyi smiles. "You repaired my laptop before and never charged me. Consider this payment." Afterward, everyone begins discussing ways to improve the family's salon business. Qingyi suggests introducing curly hairstyles. In Beijing, people charge a lot for this service. If we offer it here, we could make a decent profit. Everyone agrees. Soon, they begin testing the idea on themselves. The first victim is Lu Nian, and surprisingly, The results turn out great. Encouraged by the success, Qingyi curls her own hair. Even Xingwu's grandmother joins the experiment. Soon, everyone participates except Xingwu. After Qingyi finishes, she looks absolutely beautiful. Excited, she rushes to show Xingwu. Don't you notice anything different? Your hair. How does it look? Xingwu looks at her carefully before answering. It looks really beautiful. Hearing those words makes Qingyi incredibly happy. Afterward, everyone takes photos with their new hairstyles. The plan is to print promotional posters and advertise throughout the village. Later, Shanyi secretly takes a photo of Qingyi handing Xingwu a slice of watermelon. The picture turns out so good that everyone agrees it should be used on the posters. That evening, the family gathers for dinner. However, Xingwu receives an urgent repair call and has to leave. When he returns, he discovers complete chaos. Qingyi has gotten completely drunk and is dancing near the seaside while saying all kinds of random things. The moment she sees Xingwu, she smiles. "You're back! I want to tell you something." "What is it?" Qingyi suddenly becomes emotional. "You work so hard for your family every day. Whenever I see it, my heart aches for you." Hearing those words makes Xingwu strangely happy. Then Qingyi continues rambling. "One day I'm going to become very rich. Then I'll buy you a huge house. We'll all live there together." Xingwu can't help laughing. Eventually, he carries her home and puts her to bed. The next morning, Qingyi wakes up with no memory of what happened. When she repeatedly asks Xingwu about last night, he finally gives in. He recalls how she had called him closer before whispering directly into his ear. "Your backside actually looks really nice." Then she laughed uncontrollably. The moment Qingyi hears this, she nearly dies from embarrassment. "Oh no, my reputation is finished!" Then she immediately runs away. The next day, she goes to print all the promotional posters. Unfortunately, heavy rain suddenly begins pouring down. Just then, a woman named Suhan offers her a ride. During the drive, Qingyi learns that Suhan is Xingwu's longtime friend. In fact, most people in the village assume the two are a couple. Although Suhan is friendly, Qingyi suddenly feels uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Xingwu has gone out carrying an umbrella because he is worried about Qingyi. By the time he finds her, she has already returned home. However, Qingyi avoids him completely. Later, Xingwu gently places a towel over her wet hair and helps her save the rain-soaked posters. Even though Qingyi is avoiding him, Xingwu acts as if nothing has happened. Soon, Qingyi overhears Xingwu and Suhan talking downstairs. Every second she listens makes her feel more irritated. During their conversation, Suhan offers Xingwu a job opportunity in another city. Later, the three of them go to a cafe together. The more Qingyi thinks about Suhan's offer, the more uncomfortable she feels. Finally, she says to Xingwu, "Everyone already thinks you're a couple. Why don't you accept the job and go with her?" Immediately, Xingwu frowns. "Who told you we're a couple? We're just friends." But Qingyi doesn't want to believe him. Jealousy is starting to affect her judgment. Instead of listening, she storms off angrily. Meanwhile, Xingwu finds himself constantly thinking about Qingyi and the words she said while drunk. "You work so hard for your family. One day when I become rich, I'll buy you a huge house." Those words make him incredibly happy. Because of that, he finally makes a decision. He will not accept Suhan's offer. Instead, as long as Qingyi stays here, he wants to stay by her side. That night, he sends her a message. "Tomorrow, I'm going to take you somewhere beautiful." Unfortunately, Qingyi never sees it. The next day, everyone was busy distributing the salon posters around the village. While doing that, Qingyi realized she couldn't find Xingwu anywhere. Eventually, she found him at a small shop. Feeling guilty about how she had acted the previous night, she walked over and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't treat you very well yesterday. I won't do that again." Then she handed him a stack of posters. Xingwu smiled, and the awkward atmosphere between them finally disappeared. Soon, the salon started getting a lot of customers. The promotion had worked surprisingly well. Meanwhile, someone unexpected arrived from Beijing. It was Han. He had traveled all the way to Yating just to see Qingyi. When Qingyi saw him standing outside the house, she was completely shocked. "What are you doing here?" Han looked at her seriously. "About what my mother said that day? I'm really sorry. I've come here to take you back." However, Qingyi no longer wanted to leave. She had already started treating this village as her home. Later, Han revealed something important. "I've already arranged everything. We can both study abroad and I'll cover all the expenses." Qingyi was surprised. After thinking for a moment, she replied, "Let me think about it first." At that exact moment, Xingwu arrived. The moment he walked in, he immediately told Qingyi, "Mom is looking for you." Then he grabbed her hand and pulled her outside. Qingyi couldn't help teasing him. "Are you jealous or something?" something? Ignoring the question, Xingwu asked, "Why did he come all the way here?" Qingyi answered honestly, "He came to take me abroad." Meanwhile, Han got into an argument with a noisy live streamer staying next door. The situation escalated until the police were called. Fortunately, Xingwu arrived in time and calmed everything down. Afterward, Han told Xingwu, "I came here to bring Qingyi back. I've already bought the tickets." At the same time, Qingyi was deeply troubled. Part of her wondered whether she should accept Han's offer. However, Xingwu didn't agree with Han's approach. "Why are you trying to force your decision on her?" Later, Xingwu repaired Han's broken phone. After the repair, Han tried to pay him a large amount of money, but Xingwu immediately returned it. "Are you crazy? I'm not taking this." The next day, Xingwu took Qingyi to a beautiful place. After listening to her concerns, he unexpectedly said, "Han is right. Maybe you should go back." Those words left Qingyi speechless. Later that night, Han drank too much and passed out. Because of that, he was placed in Xingwu's room to sleep. When Qingyi entered the room, she finally understood why Xingwu had never wanted her to see it. The room was tiny, cramped, and uncomfortable. Only then did she realize how much Xingwu had sacrificed for her. He had given up his own bedroom and moved into this storage room without ever complaining. The realization hit her hard. Later, Qingyi sorted through some of her belongings, making it seem as if she was preparing to leave. When Xingwu returned home and couldn't find her anywhere, he and his mother immediately assumed she had left with Han. However, that wasn't true at all. Qingyi was simply accompanying Han to the station. Before boarding the bus, Han asked one final time, "Have you really decided not to study abroad?" Qingyi smiled. "I'll study abroad one day, but I'll do it with my own abilities, not by depending on someone else." Then she added, "And honestly, Yating isn't a bad place. It feels like home now." With those words, she sent Han off. After the bus left, Xingwu suddenly appeared. Relieved, he said, "I thought you had left without telling me." Qingyi laughed. "Why would I do that? If I ever leave, you'll definitely be the one taking me to the station." After that, Qingyi took him to a shop. Earlier, she had secretly sold some of her old clothes. What she didn't know was that Han had actually bought them through a fake account to help her without hurting her pride. With that money, Qingyi immediately bought Xingwu a brand new mattress. When Xingwu found out, he was genuinely touched. Back at home, the new mattress was moved into his room, but Xingwu had a surprise of his own. Remembering Qingyi's drunken complaint about not having a wardrobe, he had personally built one for her. When Qingyi saw it, she was incredibly happy. As for Xingwu, he felt like butterflies were flying around inside his chest. The next morning, Xingwu took Qingyi to an amusement park. The two spent the entire day together, laughing and having fun. Their friendship had become much deeper than before. Soon after, Qingyi made another important decision. She decided to enroll in a local school. Coincidentally, it was the same school Xingwu had attended before dropping out. As soon as they arrived, Xingwu's former teacher, Mr. Zhu, spotted him. "Finally found you. Are you coming back to school?" Xingwu laughed and shook his head. "No, I'm just helping Qingyi with her admission." Mr. Zhu sighed. "You've already been out of school for 2 years. It's time to return." Meanwhile, Qingyi completed her enrollment process. One of the teachers pointed towards Xingwu and said, "Try not to get too close to him. He has quite a reputation around here." The teacher then mentioned an upcoming English competition with a large cash prize. Hearing that, Qingyi became interested. Later, she walked up to Xingwu and teased him. "Why does everyone say you're some kind of devil?" Even Mr. Zhu once again reminded Xingwu to return to school before leaving. On the way home, Qingyi learned more about his past. When Xingwu's father ran away after piling up huge debts, all the responsibility fell onto Xingwu's shoulders. His grandmother was sick, and because of those burdens, he had been forced to abandon his studies. Despite everything, he had once been an exceptionally talented student. After hearing his story, Qingyi became even more determined. Again and again, she encouraged him, "Come back to school," but Xingwu always avoided the topic. Around this time, another student named Yezin was introduced. He was the son of a wealthy businessman and one of the school's top students. Later, Qingyi was introduced to her class. The teacher even told her, "Please help me convince Xingwu to come back. He's a genius at mathematics." We were also introduced to Hia, one of the strongest English students in school. During practice for the upcoming English competition, Qingyi completely outperformed her. For the first time, Hia felt like a serious rival had appeared. At the same time, Yezin became interested in Qingyi and approached her to become friends. The next morning, Yezin unexpectedly arrived at Xingwu's house carrying breakfast. "I brought food for you. Your English is amazing, so can you teach me sometime?" Qingyi welcomed him inside. Meanwhile, Xingwu was silently burning with jealousy. To vent his frustration, he wandered around with a mosquito swatter, smacking random things for no reason. Both Qingyi and Yezin were completely confused. However, Qingyi quickly figured it out. She realized Xingwu was jealous. A little later, Xingwu's mother took Yezin away for a haircut, conveniently leaving Qingye and Xingwu alone. Qingye immediately asked, "What's wrong with you today?" Xingwu replied, "Nothing. You've already become the campus beauty." His tone clearly revealed his jealousy. Unfortunately, the haircut turned out so funny that everyone burst out laughing when they saw Yezin. The following day, representatives from the English competition arrived at the school. At the same time, Suhan brought Xingwu to Mr. Yi's house for a repair job. Mr. Yi was Yezin's father. A large aquarium's oxygen system had stopped working, but Xingwu quickly fixed it. Meanwhile, back at school, Qingye completely won over the audience with her speaking skills. By the end of the competition, Qingye was declared the winner. At the same time, Mr. Yi was extremely impressed by Xingwu's abilities. After the repair was finished, he told him, "Even if you're not in school right now, if you ever need work, come talk to me." This was actually a huge opportunity for Xingwu. Afterwards, Suhan told Xingwu, "You have to take advantage of this. If you work under Mr. Yi, you could get a stable career. And once your life becomes stable, you might even be able to return to school." Elsewhere, Haya was still disappointed about losing the English competition. Ever since Qingyi defeated her, Haya's two friends had been holding a grudge. That day, while Qingyi was walking home from school, the two girls prepared a childish prank using thorny burr fruits that stick to clothes and hair. Meanwhile, Xingwu noticed that Qingyi still hadn't returned home even though school had ended long ago. Worried, he headed toward the school to look for her. Just then, Qingyi arrived home. However, something seemed wrong. She looked unusually quiet. Xingwu immediately asked, "What happened?" Qingyi forced a smile. "Nothing," but Xingwu wasn't convinced. Then he noticed something tangled in her hair. Walking closer, he frowned. "What is all this?" Qingyi silently stood in front of a mirror and grabbed a pair of scissors. Because dozens of burrs were stuck in her hair, she was about to cut it off. Seeing this, Xingwu quickly stopped her. "Are you crazy? How much hair are you planning to cut?" Without waiting for an answer, he brought her into the salon and carefully removed the burrs one by one. As he worked, he asked again, "Who did this?" Qingye avoided the question. Instead, she looked at him and said, "If I tell you, are you going to protect me?" Xingwu paused. Qingye continued, "If you really want to protect me, then go back to school. If you're there, nobody will dare bully me. I want us to have memories together at school." Xingwu listened quietly. Afterward, Xingwu's mother trimmed Qingye's damaged hair, making it look beautiful again. Even Qingye tried convincing her, "Please help me get him back into school," but she could only smile helplessly. That decision depends entirely on him. Later that evening, Qingyi entered Xingwu's room while he was away. Looking around, she discovered some old mathematics exam papers. The scores were unbelievable. It was obvious that Xingwu had once been an exceptional student. Just then, Xingwu walked in. Qingyi quickly became embarrassed. "I was actually looking for you," Xingwu suddenly replied. "Come here, I'll teach you something." "What?" "How to fight back." Since Qingyi kept getting bullied, Xingwu wanted to teach her self-defense. He stood in front of her. "Try to attack me." Qingyi immediately grabbed him by the neck, but Xingwu easily caught both her wrists and pinned her against the wall. For a moment, the two simply stared at each other. Then suddenly, a decoration fell from a shelf above them. The ornament showed a couple repeatedly kissing. The moment Xingwu saw it, he nearly died from embarrassment. Quickly, he grabbed it and hid it under a blanket. Qingyi looked at him suspiciously. "My friends gave it to me as a birthday gift," he explained. "Oh, I see." Then she asked, "Weren't you going to teach me self-defense?" Wanting to escape the awkward situation, Xingwu immediately replied, "If someone attacks you, run away." Qingyi blinked. "That's the lesson?" Lesson over. Then he practically pushed her out of the room. Back in her room, Qingyi couldn't stop laughing. Meanwhile, Xingwu couldn't sleep at all that night. The next morning, Qingyi headed to school alone. What she didn't know was that Xingwu had secretly followed her. Unfortunately for him, Qingyi caught him. Turning around, she smiled. "I know you've been following me this entire time." Xingwu immediately denied it. "No, I was already going this way." At that exact moment, the same two girls who had bullied Qingyi appeared. The second they saw Qingyi and Xingwu together, they turned around and ran away. Xingwu looked confused. Why are they running? Qingyi quickly answered, "You're known as the village devil. They probably got scared." What Xingwu didn't know was that when those girls tried dumping the burr fruits on her, Qingyi had grabbed the bag and dumped everything back onto one of them. That was why they were terrified of her. Of course, she wasn't about to tell him that. Instead, Xingwu held out his hand. "Give me your phone." After taking it, he installed a tracking app. "With this, I'll always know where you are. If you ever get into trouble, tap the screen 3 times. Qingyi smiled. "So this is how you're planning to protect me? For now." Meanwhile, another problem was brewing. A woman named Shaolin had recently gotten her eyebrows tattooed by Xingwu's mother. The problem was that Xingwu's mother wasn't licensed and had learned the technique online. Naturally, the results weren't great. When Shaolin saw her eyebrows, she exploded with anger and demanded compensation. Trying to calm her down, Xingwu's mother promised to pay damages if necessary, but Shaolin wasn't satisfied. Soon after, Xingwu was called by Mr. Ye. Another man was there as well, and Mr. Ye explained that only one of them would be selected for a valuable opportunity. After leaving, Xingwu was even threatened by the other man, but instead of backing down, he responded with a warning of his own. Meanwhile, Xingwu's teacher and friends continued pressuring him to return to school. The teacher even gave him an envelope filled with old school memories. That night, Qingye came to Xingwu's room because her school uniform zipper was broken. While fixing it, Xingwu looked through the old photos from his teacher. Seeing this, Qingye brought up the paper plane story he once told her. She said maybe the plane didn't need to stop flying. Maybe it just needed a different path. Then she once again encouraged him to return to school. Xingwu stayed silent and spent the entire night thinking about it. The next day, Shaolin returned to the salon with a man and ordered him to vandalize the shop. The scene quickly turned chaotic. Xingwu's grandmother panicked, fell, and badly injured her leg. Soon afterward, Xingwu received a call from his mother and rushed home. The local doctor advised them to transfer Grandma to a city hospital immediately. Now everything seemed to be falling apart. The salon had been shut down, Grandma needed surgery, and the family was facing an even worse financial crisis. At the same time, Shaolin continued demanding compensation. The argument escalated, but no agreement was reached. Later, Xingwu's mother completely broke down emotionally. Seeing her pain, Xingwu comforted her like a close friend rather than a son. Their bond was especially strong because she had raised him at a very young age. Meanwhile, Qingye contacted Yezin and offered to tutor him in English. In return, she asked for an advance payment of 20,000 yuan to help cover Grandma's treatment costs. Yezin agreed immediately. The next morning, Yezin arrived to pick Qingye up. Xingwu became confused seeing him there again. When Yezin explained the tutoring arrangement, Xingwu worried it might affect her studies. But Qingye confidently replied that she could handle both. Deep down, Xingwu knew she was only doing this to help his family. Later, Qingyi asked Yezin what someone should do if they cared about a friend who had sacrificed their education for family responsibilities. Yezin replied, "If you truly care about someone, stay by their side and support them. Just tell them, I'm always with you." Those words deeply moved Qingyi. She immediately ran to the hospital. There, she found Xingwu sleeping on a bench outside. Quietly, she talked with his mother and grandmother before gently placing her coat over him and leaving. When Xingwu woke up later, he found the coat and a paper plane beside him. At that moment, he realized Qingyi had come to see him. Meanwhile, Xingwu's mother sought help from Mr. Ju, who happened to be Shaolin's ex-husband. We then learned that Shaolin had taken all of his money years ago, leaving him to survive as an e-rickshaw driver. Still, Mr. Ju agreed to help. Eventually, after a lot of pleading, Shaolin finally accepted compensation and agreed to settle the matter. Before leaving, Mr. Ju told Xingwu's mother something important. Send Xingwu back to school. That boy has a bright future. Soon, Grandma returned home and slowly began recovering. The salon reopened, and for the first time in a long while, the family finally had a peaceful moment together. Later, Qingyi spoke to Xingwu. She told him that she finally understood why he left school. "If I were in your situation, I might have made the same choice." Then she added, "No matter what you do or where you go, I'll always stand by you." Those words deeply moved Xingwu. However, trouble soon appeared again. A post began spreading around school claiming Qingyi's father was under investigation and that her family property had been seized. The post had been uploaded by Haya. As a result, students started judging Qingyi. In the cafeteria, the situation became even worse. Haya accused Qingyi of bullying others. Qingyi tried defending herself, but Haya kept twisting the story. Fortunately, one of the girls finally admitted the truth. In reality, Qingyi had been the victim all along. Just then, Xingwu arrived. Without saying much, he grabbed Qingyi's hand and walked her out. He made it clear that she had done nothing wrong and didn't owe anyone an apology. Soon after, a teacher stepped in and warned the students to stop behaving that way. Later, Qingyi asked Xingwu how he knew she was in trouble. Xingwu explained that the tracking app had alerted him, and after seeing what was happening, he rushed over immediately. Qingyi smiled. Then she once again encouraged him to return to school and think about his own future. And with that emotional moment, this chapter of the story came to an end.